Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Been a little bit since my last video. I've been pretty busy just kind of working on a lot of my UP passenger stuff. Just doing a few things here and there. Trying to decide if I want to paint the wheels or not. I actually did have the wheels painted on these cars and then decided to unpaint them, and now I'm thinking about repainting them. So that's something that I have to figure out. But this is the whole of my UP passenger fleet here. Every car except for the new Broadway Limited business cars, except for those three that are in the mix here. They are all Walther Proto. A lot of them have a little bit of detail added to them. Nothing's like super, I guess some of the details are alright. They're not 100% perfect. Some of the stuff I just had in stock and kind of went with. But basically tried to make some of this stuff look a little bit more custom, a little bit more detailed than just right out of the box. As far as like detail antennas, like the Art Lockman here has a bunch of detail antennas on top, bunch of stuff moved around on the bottom. Quite a few of these cars I moved and changed a lot of the lower appliances to try to match what the original car has, as close as I could, without completely building stuff from scratch. Just something to make the cars look a little bit more custom, slightly more correct. Like I said, not 100% correct, but better. A couple of cars are stand-in cars that aren't super close to the original, but close enough. Like this baggage car here, I decaled it for just the name Cheyenne. This is supposed to be, this is kind of my knockoff Howard Fogg. Yes, I know this particular car in front of me is not a power car. The Howard Fogg is a power car. But that's as close as I can get until somebody produces the actual Howard Fogg. I'm kind of hoping eventually Broadway Limited does, because I do have quite a few cars from them on pre-order, including the 2066 power car, the Fox, I think it's the Fox River Theater track inspection car. I have 3 or 4 versions of Lone Star coming, and I think that's really all I have. I know I have another, I got a couple other, but just trying to get some of their passenger stuff. But hopefully eventually Broadway Limited kind of does the more specialty cars like the Howard Fogg. Walther's does make the Willie James, and I do have the Willie James. Switched around a lot of the lower appliances. I decaled warning labels on stuff, did some little red paint details. Every car that is supposed to have speed recorders on it does have speed recorders on them, and they are in the they're on the correct truck, and they're in the correct orientation. So I think out of everything, the only car that does not have speed recorders on it is which one was that? It's one of these dome cars. One of the dome cars doesn't have it. I think it's the Missouri River Eagle. Yeah, it's the Missouri River Eagle. So actually, that's if you guys remember from one of my unboxings not too long ago, that the Missouri River Eagle was actually my last dome car that I needed to finish my dome car collection. I now have all of the current dome cars that Union Pacific owns and runs, so that's really exciting. The Missouri River Eagle was the last one that I was missing from the fleet. And then buried in the back somewhere is the Texas Eagle. That was along in that unboxing that I did some decal work to on the bottom. It has speed recorders where it needs it and stuff like that. So just a few things to kind of enhance just the base model of the car. These are already really nice cars straight out of the box, especially the Proto 2000 versions. Or not the Proto, not the Proto 2000. The Proto versions are super nice. But just a few changes here and there. I have added a lot of antenna equipment to some of these cars. Not all of it is correct, but it is in the right placement and the right positioning, so close enough is good enough as far as these go. Something else I have done is, since Union Pacific has 2 flag cars, and I don't know how many people really know that they have 2 flag cars, because I've only seen one video of both of these on the same train. They never run them together for some reason, but there is one video that I saw on YouTube quite a few years ago that had both of the flag cars on the same train, and especially nowadays it's even harder to tell. So I'm not sure when. I think it's fairly recent, honestly. Maybe in the last 5 years, 4 years, maybe even more recent. They changed the trucks on the 2-axle truck version of the car. They changed those to a 3-axle truck. So if you really don't know what you're looking for, you're going to think it's just one flag car that they own, but they actually do own 2 flag cars. And I think Walther's calls it the Council Bluffs. Now, the number is correct for the Council Bluffs, but what they should have done was they should have put the 2-axle trucks on the Council Bluffs version, because when they released these, the Council Bluffs still had the 2-axle trucks. But they released this version with the 3-axle trucks, and that's actually Promontory. Now, there is another Promontory car that is the Experience the Union Pacific. I have that right there. You guys can see Experience the Union Pacific. It's kind of buried back there. But on the side it does say Promontory, but as far as I can tell, this one is still called Promontory. I don't know if they ever changed the name on it officially, but you go to so right now I'm actually on rrpicturearchives.net, and right here Promontory 5752, I think that's this one. Yeah, 5752 is the Experience the Union Pacific Promontory, and then 5769, or no, my bad, 5779 is also still called Promontory, but it's the museum car. That's the one that that always had the 3-axle trucks on it. And then 5769 Council Bluffs, that's this version, the one that originally came with the 2-axle trucks on it. This is also the particular one that carried George Bush Sr. in his funeral train back in 2018. In 2018, this car still had the 2-axle trucks. Like I said, it's very recent that they updated this car to 3-axle trucks. So unless you know what you're looking for, it is harder to tell them apart from each other. The museum car had some GPS antenna and some of their camera antenna pretty early on. And then also very recently, Council Bluffs now has a GPS dome up at the top front of the car. And then the museum car has a little bit more going on underneath it. A few more appliances underneath it than what Council Bluffs has. This is unmodified from Walther's. It's not correct. This I modified as much as I could. Like I said, without completely building stuff from scratch, just moving appliances around, decaling stuff, added a few things here and there, just to kind of add some more detail to the bottom of that car. But yeah, so there is 2 flag cars. If you didn't know, they do have 2 flag cars. Like I said, it's super rare to see both of them together. Like I said earlier, I've only seen one video of both of these cars on the same train, and that was actually my first time realizing that there was 2 flag cars. I never really paid attention to the truck layout on the cars until I noticed that there was 2 of them, and then I clearly saw that one was the Promontory one was 3-axle and the Council Bluffs was 4-axle. So, like I said, if you want to run super modern day, super updated, this is actually correct now if you just buy it from Walther's, because it does have Council Bluffs number on there, 5769. So it is actually a little bit more correct for modern day. But I'm not going super modern day with the stuff just because I do want I want to have the differences between the cars. I might end up throwing the 3-axle trucks back on this car. It did come with it, just, you know, like the stock version here, or not so stock, but has the trucks, speed recorders. They both had speed recorders. So yeah, I'm not too sure if I want to update it that much. I mean, the rest of the fleet is kind of updated as much as I can, so I might swap the trucks, but at the same time, if I want to run a half-ass version of the George Bush funeral train, I kind of have to have this version, so I might just keep the 2 separate truck arrangements on these cars, just that we can really tell them apart, aside from the antennas and the undercarriages. So, but that's my flag cars. That's kind of what's going on with those. Like I said, my Cheyenne baggage car is kind of a poor stand-in for the Howard Fogg. Like I said, I've moved a lot of equipment around on the bottom on both sides of the car, added a lot of stuff, warning labels, little paint details, and then of course some of the antenna detail up top, a lot of little firecracker antennas, a couple little GPS things, some radio antenna on there. So this one also has speed recorders on both sides of the car. That's kind of how they run it. If you've never really paid attention to a lot of the finer details on these cars, like I said, everything except for the Missouri River Eagle has speed recorders, and they're always on opposite sides of the car, and sometimes they're kind of on different ends. So if you look at on this car, the speed recorders are on the complete opposite sides of how they are from some of these other cars. Some of them face different directions too. I've taken a lot of time to look at photos of these cars to see what the speed recorders are doing, what trucks they're on, how they're faced. Some of them even have a couple extra speed recorders, more than just the standard 4 for a lot of these cars. Like the Walter Dean has an extra speed recorder on this truck, even though the other side of the truck has 2 speed recorders. This axle has speed recorders on both sides. And then same thing with Harriman. Harriman has an extra speed recorder on this axle, even though it has 2 speed recorders on the other side. And you guys can also see some of the antenna. These lollipop antennas that I used aren't correct. They're supposed to be like these little tiny rectangles, these little tiny white rectangles that are bolted to posts. I didn't really have anything like that, but these lollipops are kind of a nice stand-in. They look pretty decent. I've kept that kind of flow on all the cars that do have them, just that way they do match. Like I said, it's not correct, but it's close and it looks cool. That's really all that matters. Everything looks kind of neat and unique. I added the kind of old style railing antenna to Harriman because it actually does have this still. And then City of Portland kind of has those little antennas on each side. I think they're for video footage throughout the train. If you, I heard something like it's like video footage of the ends of the train or something like that. Could be something else. That's just something that I've heard. I don't know what every little antenna does on these things, so I do apologize if I say it's doing something and it's not doing that. That's what I've heard. I don't know for sure. But same thing, I've put some little warning decals and labels, little red paint details. The City of Portland, since it's a diner, it actually has a propane tank. They're kind of a box. I guess I can pick that up and show you guys a little bit better. They're kind of like a little box with a door on it. They're actually propane tanks in there, and it's got one on each side. So that's another little detail that I've added. You guys can see some of the warning labels. Not all of this is correct, guys. Like I said, some of these pumps or motors or whatever they are on the bottom are on like both sides, and they look a lot different. These are like the old style equipment, so I just kind of worked with what I had on the car already, just to add some detail. Like I said, they're not 100%. They're not perfect, but they look more exciting than just straight out of the box, and that makes me happy. So they're not brass correct, you know. I would like to take the time and completely redo the undersides of these cars, but that does take a lot of work, and then trying to match the paint. Some of these I've already done a lot of appliance moving around. Like the Art Lockman has a bunch of stuff going on underneath it. It is the tool car, so it's got all sorts of fuel tanks and other holding tanks for stuff and storage compartments and all sorts of stuff. So I just tried to add in some generic undercarriage detail from I have a bunch of UP cars that I parted out, so I just had a bunch of undercarriage details that I could pull off of those and swap them onto these and swap stuff around, move stuff around, just to try to make it look a little bit closer. Like I said, not correct at all, but it's a little bit closer, a little bit more exciting to look at than just a baggage car with like nothing going on underneath it, where this car should really have, you know, a lot of stuff like that going on. Same thing with Willie James. Willie James got a lot of stuff moved around underneath, warning labels put on stuff, little red paint details here and there, appliances moved around, antenna detail up top. And for a while there, they were running kind of these low profile GPS domes, and I've noticed in more recent pictures that they've actually replaced these with a smaller, taller white GPS dome. I'm not doing that. I kind of like the look of these low profile black colored GPS domes. They're actually done way more correct on the business cars. They're a single piece that's molded on there. I painted those so that way they stood out as they should on all three versions of my Canific car. So I painted those just to kind of make those look a little bit better. That's how they should be. That is what they should be. Mine are quite oversized. They're a locomotive antenna, basically. But like I said, when I was doing all this stuff, it's all I had in my stock. I couldn't really find anything that was much closer. And like I said, I already had them in my stock. So put them together, paint them, glued them on there. The Art Lockman has kind of some different antenna detail going on there. Some cool stuff that I added there. Like I said, I'm not trying to get these perfect. If I was super picky about that, I would just spend the money on the brass versions that are correct. But honestly, there's nothing wrong with running these Proto cars. They're really nice, and honestly, even if you didn't want to flop around all the appliances on the bottom, and if you don't have spare parts to add stuff, just doing simple stuff like this, putting warning labels on stuff, painting certain little details, just that stuff makes a world of difference. Speed recorders you can get super cheap and put them on there, paint them silver. Just make sure if you want them correct, really look at updated pictures of the cars. That way you know what way they face, what trucks they're on. But yeah, so I've just kind of been busy. Some of this stuff I did a while ago. This go around I've been trying to refine some stuff. Excuse me. Added a lot more detail, antenna detail on some of these cars. Like I said, added certain details on other cars. This go around was more changing around the bottoms, especially on some of these diner cars, like the City of Denver, Overland, and City of Los Angeles. I completely stripped all of the appliances off of the bottoms of these cars and started completely over. Now, like I said, I didn't scratch build anything. I didn't do anything like that. I just took existing appliances that I had in my parts stock and basically just kind of moved stuff around. Each car is a little different. Some stuff is in certain places. Some stuff's a little different. Some tanks and boxes are different sizes. So each car is going to have a little bit of variation on the bottoms. But that's just kind of how they are. On the City of Los Angeles, the speed recorders are opposite of what they are on the other two cars here. All these cars are facing what I call forward. And you can see on the most forward truck, speed recorders are on that truck, but on this car and this car, they're on the back truck, which means the other front truck, they're on the other side. So each truck has two speed recorders, and they're opposite sides of each other. Sometimes they're on the flip-flop sides of the cars. So like I said, if you do want to do that little detail, like I said, it's honestly a neat detail. I love stuff like that. Like I said, especially on these dome cars, they have a little extra here and there, so you really got to see what you're looking at. Some of them are curved a different direction, so I paid a lot of attention to that just to kind of have that cool little detail. But it's super easy, fairly cheap. I mean, not fairly cheap if you want to do that to your whole fleet. It might cost a little bit of money in speed recorders, but overall, that's kind of a cheap detail that you can do. Decals, you can get little warning labels like that, super cheap. Red paint, I'm pretty sure we all have gloss red in our paint somewhere, or if you don't, you can get a jar of it pretty cheap and kind of highlight some of the plugs and caps and stuff like that. But it's basically what I've done on all of these cars, just a little bit of detail work just to kind of enhance them. And as I said, not correct at all, but closer than what they are straight out of the box, and it kind of makes them look a little bit more exciting. There's a little bit more than just the car body you're looking at. If you're really watching these cars go by, you kind of start to pick out some of the details, which is kind of neat. And I think they look cool with all the antennas and stuff. I love passenger cars with antennas and just a bunch of super extra stuff like that, and UP definitely has a gorgeous fleet of passenger cars. Now, some of the stuff that I have has been donated in real life. Like pretty much all of the coaches, all of the standard coaches have been donated. I have the City of Salina tucked back in there somewhere. That's been donated to the RHMA I don't know if the Texas Eagle has, but the Sunshine Special, Portland Rose, Katy Flyer, I have all of those, and all of those have been donated to the RHMA in Silvis, along with a lot of other stuff that they donated. But I do have, where is it? Kind of tucked back here, I have another baggage car. This one also is lettered for, oh, is that a different one? Cheyenne. No, that's, so this one is another one that I labeled for Cheyenne. That's kind of my stand-in for the Lynn Nystrom baggage car. So I have a couple stand-ins until the actual car is made by somebody. But I am very happy with what I have from Walthers altogether. Like I said, I finally have all the dome cars, so that was really cool to get the missing piece here, the Missouri River Eagle. Like I said, this is the only car that does not have speed recorders. It doesn't have any speed recorders on any truck. I don't know why. But it does not. But it also does not have the Union Pacific passenger, the UPP on there. So I think that might have something to do with it. But I don't know. There's other cars that don't have that have speed recorders. So not really sure why this particular dome does not have speed recorders on it. But I'm pretty sure I'm just boring a lot of people talking about speed recorders. But if you're into little details, stuff like that matters. You really want to look at stuff like that. We have Columbine, really nice one. We have the Colorado Eagle. Now the Colorado Eagle didn't used to have speed recorders, and then sometime later in its career it received speed recorders. So like I said, if you want something a little bit more modern, go on, I would suggest going online and finding more updated pictures of these cars. I also have the Challenger. Love the name of that one. The Colorado Eagle, I also changed the appliance on this side because it doesn't have... So these are the old style appliance. There's like a newer piece of equipment that sits there. It's actually one of these units right here that's on the Canific. These are the early style with the early appliances on them. But the Challenger actually has a different box, or like two different boxes there. So I changed that out. Just something for me. I mean, no one's really ever gonna pay any attention to that. I'm gonna scrutinize my cars more than anybody else, but I'm pretty happy with how the fleet looks. Now I just have to decide if I want to go through with painting the wheels again or just leave them unpainted. I'm okay with painting wheels on locomotives. I do clean them up quite a bit to get the paint off of the flange area and make sure all that's cleaned up really good, because paint is kind of a dust attractor, and the further the paint is out onto the face of the wheel, or not the face of the wheel, but the rim of the wheel, it'll start to attract dust. So I kind of went against painting wheels, and that's why I unpainted all these wheels. I cleaned them all up really nice. But I don't know, they look so nice, and it would be nice to have painted wheels on them, but that's a lot of wheels. So that might be something that I do, but not right now. For right now, I'm pretty happy with how these cars look, the little upgrades that I've done to them, and I'm pretty happy with that. So, but that's what I've been up to, guys. Just kind of going back through my whole UP passenger fleet, updating some things, changing a lot of the bottoms on them. Like I said, we had the Missouri River Eagle come in, and then the Texas Eagle, which is out there somewhere, had those come in. So of course I had to decal those up and just do a few things to those. So it was the perfect time to get the rest of the stuff out and kind of do some other updates and upgrades that I wanted to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Almost right at 30 minutes here. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm not sure what's going to be on the next video. It might be a while. I'm going to try to clean some stuff up here because I would like to work on some horns, honestly. I have some projects that I really need to get done, and we are getting into summer now, so I'm very behind because I got so swamped up with all this UP stuff. Definitely a lot of exciting stuff, but like I said, it might be a little bit before I get around to making another video, but as soon as I come to something exciting here, I'll bring you guys back for another one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed me rambling on about my passenger cars. Sorry if it was very boring. It's some simple and cheap ways to kind of upgrade your cars, and yeah, they might not be perfect, but guess what? They look cool and they're custom, and custom stuff is always cool. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and until next time, take care.